Hello, Aries. Elsie here to do a weekly reading for you. How are you, my fire family? I hope you're well. Look, I've got some oracles here. We're going to use some oracles this week to see what's coming up for you. Let's find out with this deck first. This is going to be whatever information is coming up for you post new moon in Taurus. We just had that on the 16th of May. Let's see what is coming up for you now in this new cycle. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about how to find the extended. Also, I'll tell you about private reads, if that is anything that you might be interested in. Let's find out what's going on for you, Aries. We're going to start right here. We've got the abundant universe will provide. There is something here that I believe is about to begin brand new for you. We've got the 10, right? 10s are endings, but they're, as a consequence, also a beginning, right? So it does feel like with this number 10 that something new, something here has ended for you or resolved, or a cycle is closed, which could be, the first cycle of May. And now we're going into the second half of May here with a new cycle. The Buffalo Spirit, and I feel like there's something you're standing on business with here. The abundant universe will provide. I feel like you were doing it. It almost feels like the seat of your pants, Aries, that you're like, I'll figure it out when I get there, which is very Aries. It's like, I'm not going to ask for permission. I'll figure it out when I get there. And if I have to apologize later, I will apologize. But I feel like it's something here that the universe is going to provide a lot of abundance for. I think you're listening is what I'm saying. I feel like you're listening and you're ending something that needs to be ended because you have a feeling that something new is just around the corner. One more card for you. We do have Show the World the Real You. I love this because it's now saying, look, this now is the time for you to be authentic. And that is Taurian energy. That is, what are you keeping in your life right now? And what are you getting rid of? It feels like there is, it says here, a full moon in Aquarius. Now, this was a new moon in Taurus, but as we think about Aquarian energy, because I'm an energy reader, Aquarius is our truthful, honest, I'm not really too concerned about whether you agree with me or not, because I have the data, the facts, and the details to back it up to let you know that this is absolutely true. Also, Aquarius is really out of the box, is an out-of-the-box thinker, and I think you are too. Aquarians and Aries are really good connectors, business connectors, because one has the energy to just get it done, and the other one is like the person who is the real thinker, right? So I feel like you are both. So you could be an Aries that does have an Aquarius connection here in your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter. It does feel like that you're about to show the whole world who you really are unapologetically, because that's who Aquarius is, right? So I feel like you, Aries, are about to show everybody exactly who you are, and you don't care if you have to be the bull in the china shop to do it. You don't really care. I feel like you're just showing up as you are, and you're going to allow people to accept you or deny you, and you don't care which one that is, because you're just there to get shit done. Tell me more about Aries. We've got overcoming obstacles. Well, this is really shaping up to be very cool for you. So you can overcome anything. I really feel like this new moon has given you this clarity and practical thinking pattern as to, you know what, all that shit that's in the basement downstairs, I haven't even been in some of those boxes in a year. Why am I keeping them? Like, it feels like you're getting clarity over something that you've been sort of mulling over for years. So it feels like whatever was stuck, it feels like this always gives me the indication that somebody here is not saying what they mean, because it feels like your tongue is tied or you're biting your tongue. Feels like somebody who has been stuck within this situation where they felt like they couldn't express themselves, and now Aquarius, outside the box, the bit of a weirdo of the zodiac, which I absolutely love. Aquarius is my favorite energy. And I feel like now you're deciding to let the freak flag fly is what you're doing. You're just letting people see who you are, and you don't really care what their opinions are. They can have their opinions, but you have enough data to show that what you're doing for you is the right thing. But I think you're going to bulldoze it. We've got the Deer Spirit, bring a gentle touch. Card number 18 is the moon. And so the moon is things that could be an illusion, things that we're unsure of, things that aren't really as they seem, I would say. And so maybe you gave the illusion to people that you were always kind, always helpful. And I know Aries that are like that are just like diehards that have your back all the time. But listen, don't piss them off, because they are loyal until you decide that you don't value loyal, and then that's it. Aries is out. So I feel like people were taking your kindness for weakness is what I'm getting from that energy here, that they saw you as a deer. They saw you as somebody who was kind and gentle and wouldn't hurt a fly, and then they decided to overstep, and then you just really showed them who you are authentically, which is, don't piss me off, because if I have to yank that sword out of the stone in order to say what I need to say, I will do that. Bottom of this deck, we have surrender to the divine, full moon. I think something is coming to a close. I think that this, this new moon was a super moon as well. So I feel like something here made you very emotional. Moons are about the water. It's Cancer energy. And so I feel like something here made you very emotional. But I feel like you decided to surrender to the closing of a chapter. And so something here, you finally loosed your tongue, I feel, after biting your tongue, and decided, I need to live this life authentically. And if the people around me don't like that, I'm just going to give them the absolute truth, the honesty, the facts that I have here about how they've been treating me. We've got support is all around you, fellow travelers. Look, I think that you need to find your tribe. This happens a lot when people come to an awakening, when old chapters close and we come to the awakening, and we feel like we're in this place where we are very alone, I would say. And so I'm going to say that you will meet fellow travelers. You will meet people who have been through this actual arc here, the same thing that you have been through. So I would say make sure that you are just being who you need to be, friend. Even if you have to bulldoze the situation, it feels like the universe has got your back. I'm just going to say, if you have to end a chapter, you just need to go ahead and end it. Let's find out what the tarot has to say for you. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. All right. So we've got the 8 of Wands, we've got the 7 of Cups, and we've got the Knight of Cups. It does feel here that somebody here has decided it's time to move forward with velocity. It feels as though it's time for you to travel. It's time for you to go on some sort of an adventure, or it's time to just move forward. I feel like you've been stuck in a place for a long time. It might be because you were waiting for the end of a cycle, or waiting for something to end, or you were waiting for an aha moment to realize that this was the end of the chapter, right? I feel like it's time for you to now move forward, because you know that the universe is going to provide you with whatever it is that you need when you decide to move forward. And I think you're doing it as this person who is the real you. I feel like the real you is a person who just doesn't take it. I'm not here for you to take advantage of. I will have your back to the end, but don't piss me off and don't cross me, because you will be sad that you crossed me. It feels like this 7 of Cups here is like everybody thought that you were someone that you weren't, because you were kind, because you were helpful. It's like they took your kindness for weakness. So the 7 of Cups feels to be like an illusion. And so I think that people didn't realize who the real you was because nobody stepped on your toes, I'm going to say. But when you realize that people were taking advantage and not really necessarily giving back what they were taking, I feel like you decided it's time for you to say something. So you can overcome anything. You're overcoming obstacles. I think this is the obstacle, because ultimately, Aries, I do feel that you're a giving, kind heart. You're somebody who sees the love in people. I also feel, unfortunately, Aries, that you're a person who sees the potential in people who don't see it in themselves. And so you see them with your own potential. You kind of project potential onto them, and you're like, yeah, that person has the potential to be really great at what they do, who they are in a relationship, at work. It feels like you project that onto people, but understand that Piscean energy is also a little bit of illusion, right? Illusion here, illusion here. So I feel like you are coming to terms with something that you saw that there was potential in, and now you realize that it's not. You realize that somebody here was taking your kindness for weakness, and you're about to bring that to an end. I think you're leaving. You're getting on a jet plane. I don't know where you're going. Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know if I'll be back again. I feel like you are leaving somewhere. We've got the 8 of Swords. it feels as though you held back for quite some time. You didn't know what to do or what to say. You were stuck in the mind, in this prison of the mind, overthinking everything, trying to have the whole scenario worked out from beginning to end. We do have the Fool. I think ultimately the answer you came to was, I've got to go. And even though I'm terrified to go, even though I don't want to speak my mind, I don't want to hurt anybody, I can't let people take advantage of me anymore. So the Fool is here and justice is here. The only way for you to get justice here, friend, is for you to take the Fool's leap. And this is a place that I feel that you've never been before. This isn't, when I read, it's not for all Aries, right? Because your moon and rising sign are different from every other Aries. You are a different Aries than every other. And the energy that I'm feeling for somebody here is that you are a person who is restorative. You're honest, you're truthful, you're somebody who is very much in harmony until you're not anymore, until somebody pushes you over the edge. That's what it feels like. And so I feel as though this has been going on for quite some time. And somebody taking your kindness for weakness. And so I feel that finally it comes to an end and you are leaving. It feels like this justice card is you're going to have to get out of it legally. You may have to, you may end up taking an employer to court, or you may end up in a divorce, or it feels like whatever the ending is has something to do with you restoring your life back to balance, is what it feels like. But you're going to have to take some sort of crazy leap of faith and get the heck out of there right now before everything collapses. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Six of Swords in the reverse, so you don't want to go. I don't think you do, but I think what's you've come to the realization that you're the only one who's been providing kindness. You've been doting, you've been loving, you've been overgiving, you've been doing everything inside and out. I feel like somebody's not giving you what you're giving them. And so even though the situation is chaotic, you're loyal. And so I feel like you're staying in the situation because you are loyal. The Six of Swords in the reverse tells me you feel stuck because of financial reasons, possibly, that maybe you don't feel like you can make it on your own. There is an illusion here. And I don't think that that's true, I'm going to say. I feel like that you can make it on your own, but you just feel stuck in the mind, Aquarius energy here, until you finally, a switch flips and you show the real world. You show the world the real you. There it is. You show the world the real you. You transform. You take off the mask and say, look, this was the last of it. I'm not doing this anymore. This must come to an end. I am no longer going to be stuck here. I am not going to be worried about every single penny that comes in and out of this relationship, or maybe your employer is nickel and diming you to death. It feels like there is something here that you didn't want to leave because of the money. This could be a job. But I feel like in a moment's notice, you decide it's over. It's done. I've transformed and I'm just going to stand up and walk out of here. And then I'm going to ask for severance pay because you pushed me to the brink. It feels like somebody has had enough. Something is coming to an abrupt end here. Tell me about the Knight of Cups and overcoming obstacles. It feels like you're overcoming an obstacle the thing is, Aries, is I know many Aries, and I know you're not the person who will take it and take it and take it, but I feel like I'm talking to someone who's maybe an Aries with a Pisces rising. It feels like a soft Aries, the one who is like forgiving, and somebody who is, Pisces energy is different when it comes up in the sun than in the rising. It feels like you're like a psychic, deep feeling sort of energy, and I feel like you just didn't want to have to walk away and use legal pressure and all of that, but I feel like it's going to have to be what it is. We've got the Five of Wands because you've been fighting this feeling of something is going on and I can't see it. It's the illusion, right? We've got the Hermit energy. And we've got the Ten of Pentacles. So it says here, overcoming obstacles. So I feel like you will overcome an obstacle of worry about money for sure. There is going to be a fight over money. I would say whether this is business related or with an employer or with a spouse. It feels like there is going to be a battle. And this battle might be a spiritual battle, but it also might be a financial battle for some of you. It feels like somebody here has decided, I've got to put away this soft heart of mine and I've got to take action, because it is time for me to just teach people who I am really. You're showing the world who you really are. I think it's really important that you do that. So I feel as though it's been this thing of, I know I have to take a leap of faith, but every time I say I'm going to leave, I don't go because the Eight of Swords is here. But now I feel like you take the leap of faith and you get in the plane or you get in the car, whatever it is, and you're off because you finally slam the door closed. You're no longer wanting to pretend that you are in this this Knight of Cups energy, which is, it's okay. Yeah, if you don't want to do that, then we'll take a different road, or we'll take the detour, or I feel like you're just tired of that. And your energy is an energy of, you know what, then I'll just do it. I'll figure it out when I get there. So I feel like that's what the Eight of Wands is. It feels like I'll figure out when I get there energy. Once you finally slam the door, you don't really have a plan, but you're ready to fight for what is yours. I feel like it's somewhat of a spiritual fight, but for some of you, it could be a financial fight. But for all of you, it's a fight for the future is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to put down 3 cards here because we're going to go into the extended. And these 3 cards usually end up being either advice or the outcome for you for some of you, depending on what's going on, how this is resonating with you. And then we're going to go into the extended, and I'll tell you how to get there in just a moment. We've got the Tower. So everything is falling to the ground. Now, the thing is, you already knew that. You already knew, universe tuned you in, that we are already at the end of the cycle. And so when we don't move, that's when the Tower shows up and says, look, without change, there is no progress. And for you to progress from here, there has to be a falling of the illusion. Illusion, right? There has to be a falling of the illusion. So it feels like the Tower shows up and everything begins to fall in. We have the Two of Swords because of a decision you make. You see how it's going here? It's a really important and hard decision that you're making, and it's in favor of your balance, Libra and Libra energy. One more. And we've got the Eight of Cups. It does look like you are walking away from something. You're quitting a job, leaving a relationship behind. It does feel like there may be a bit of a battle when it comes to getting your money, getting your finances, planning for your future. But I feel like you're sort of I'll figure it out when I get there kind of person. And we have the Five of Cups. I feel like you didn't want to do it, right? I got that from the Six of Swords in the reverse. You stayed where you were because you're loyal. But I feel like you came to a place where you couldn't do that anymore because the Empress is the one who is overgiving and doting and takes care of the stability and the garden and the health and the food and the preparation and does all the things. And I think you're just exhausted, friend. I think you didn't go because you were exhausted, but something hit the wall here. With the Death card, something hit the wall and you're like, I got to change my circumstances. I got to be me. I can't just be the person everyone else wants me to be. So I think that this is a sad place for you, but it was nonetheless a place where you could no longer unsee what you saw. The Judgment card is here. It kept coming around and round and round and back for you until you could finally see the situation. And the situation is everything was left undone. You had to be the one who had to put in the most effort, the most time, all the prep, all the planning. And I think that you're just done with it, to be honest. We're going to go into the extended. If you'd like to be there, then please look at the comment section above. At the top of the comment section, there is one pinned comment. If you click on read more, you will see a couple of links are there. There's one for the membership area. That's where I put all of the extendeds if you're interested in seeing how I pull this apart. And also, if you're interested in a private reads are open. They begin at $25 and go up from there. Please click on the link to Hypsee to see if you would like a live reading or a pre-recorded reading, and you can check out all my pricing and timetables. All right, we're going to go into the extended. If you want to be there, that's where we'll be. And if not, that's okay. I'll be back because we're always back here. Aries, can't leave you alone. I'm going to be gone for a bit, but I'll be back. Take care. Bye-bye.